HooHooHooRobin.
Back with the Opie and Anthony Show. Derek Poundstone in studio. And right now we got our pal Kevin Smith on the line. Very cool. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, guys.
What's going on, buddy?
Number one, I'm going to be in there, I think, next week if you guys are around. Can I come in?
Of course you can. You don't even have to ask.
Number two, I'm bringing my movie to Radio City Music Hall on March 5th.
Oh, damn.
How cool is that?
Now, we went up to Sundance last week with our new little horror movie, Red State, and I announced that I'm going to take the movie out myself. I just couldn't sit there and think of, like, it costs us $4 million to make, and then when people distribute movies, they have to spend money to market them, to make people aware of them, posters, TV spots, billboards, stuff like that. My movies, the work that I do, just can't hold up in this economic climate. I make rarefied stuff that just plays to my audience, and generally speaking, whenever I've made movies, the people who make them then spend a lot of money trying to reach people beyond my audience, make other people aware of the movie. And that's been great for years and years and years, but that was when there was a lot of money to go around. This economy can't do it. They can't, it's so wasteful to spend money on a Kevin Smith movie to make people aware of it, because the only people who want to go are people that like Kevin Smith. And Kevin Smith pretty much talks to them every morning on Twitter or does all those podcasts or gets on the radio with them. So for me, I was like, let's try to take this little $4 million movie out ourselves without spending $10 million to make to market it, or $20 million to market it, and get our money back and have fun with it. Take it out. Like, you know me, I'm out on stage all the time when I'm not making movies. So for me, I was like, between movies, I'm on stage anyway. I'm between this movie, we finished Red State, and then I don't have another movie to start until Hit Somebody at the end of the year. So I was like, I'm going out on the road anyway to do Q&A. Why don't I take the movie out and show people the movie like months before it comes out?
Oh, my God. How smart is that? Now they go to Radio City Music Hall on March 5th. They see the whole movie, and it also says here you got, the people that are in the movie as well.
Yeah, well, we're using, for us, March 5th, that show at Radio City Music Hall, that kind of kicks off the tour. We're using that as our de facto premiere, so we're trying to bring as much of the cast as possible out for it. It sounds like everybody's coming. Michael Parks, who plays the Reverend Aben Cooper in the movie, Pastor Aben Cooper, the bad guy.
Great.
He's so phenomenal. He's probably going to sing while we're out there, because he sings a lot in the movie. And, he used to have 3 albums out or something like that. He's a recording artist from back in the day as well.
Then came Bronson.
Then came Bronson, exactly.
That's it, with his motorcycle and his backpack roll.
Long, lonesome highway.
Yes.
Hey, Kevin.
Did you guys see the teaser yet?
Yep.
Go to coopersdell.com, COOPERSDELL.com, and look at the teaser. It just don't look like anything else I've ever
It's got
done.
a good buzz, man. Like, people are talking. About it, yeah.
I love this, dude. This is like the combination of the things that I'm good at. I'm not good at making mainstream movies. I'm good at making movies that, like, are offbeat, and that's kind of where I'm at my best, you know what I'm saying? I make Cop-Out. I enjoy Cop-Out. It's funny, I didn't write it, but I just kind of made it. But to me, the work always shines when I'm personally invested, when I'm like, oh, my God, I love this, and I have to show you guys the movie. This is the combination, a movie where I'm like, oh, my God, I can't wait to show you what I've done, as if I made a dookie in my pants that was large, and I'm like, look, which a lot of critics says it is a dookie in my pants. But it's more than that. Like, now I get to show the movie and then do the other thing that I dig doing, like Q&A, and just sit there and kick it back. So we're kind of doing it, taking the approach of like an indie rock show or a punk show, where it's like there's 15, 16 dates in a row throughout all of March. Like, I leave Radio City the next night, I'm in Boston at the Wilbur Theater. After that, I go to the State Theater, the Harris Theater in Chicago, then Minneapolis, then Michigan, then Indianapolis, and it's bang, 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 bang. So we're treating it like a road show, man. It's like one show per night. Go to your town, throw it up, show the movie, kick back, do Q&A, and then we're out of town the next night someplace else. And
That's cool, man.
You can hear how much I love talking.
Yeah, man, the excitement is great.
I know, yeah.
You can hear the excitement in your voice, Kevin.
Oh, it's good. It's good. I'm so not putting down, the previous years, but here's the way I've been looking at it lately. I said on Sundance, I want to make that movie Hit Somebody, and that's it for me as a director. I don't have any more movies I want to direct, because I've always been a writer-director, not just like Steven Spielberg is a director. That man was born to make film. He'll go out of this life toes up from a movie set, no doubt. It's in his blood. It's who he is. I wasn't always a director. I was a writer. I'm a storyteller first and foremost, but I'm a writer-director. And the engine that drove my train for nearly 17 years now has been screenwriting, has been like, it's what do you think about when you think about a Kevin Smith movie? It's not like what it looks like, it's what it sounds like.
It's the dialogue,
saying. So those scripts, most of them, all of them, as a matter of fact, came from a original place inside me, but some of them, particularly the first 4 or 5, came from pure unadulterated passion. Those were the movies that was written by the guy who lived in his parents' house, who was just like, man, I'd love to make a movie. I would kill or die to make a movie. I just have to tell the story or something like that. And then you do that 5 times. I get to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and that's like kind of the ultimate fan film to oneself. After that, Jersey Girl, it's like I'm not pissing on Jersey Girl. I love Jersey Girl, but that's like when I was 23 or 22. I wasn't like, I got to make this movie about a guy whose wife died. He has to raise a kid by himself.
Yeah.
Isn't that going to be amazing? Like, that's when you start going, okay, now I'm a part of this business, so it's my job. I should just keep doing it. And it was never planned for. When we made Clerks, man, I made that movie hoping somebody would see it and be like, oh, these guys know how to make a movie. We'll give them some money, and they can make the next one, and that way I wouldn't have to make it on credit cards. I had a plan for maybe 2 movies max. And then Clerks happened, and everything changed. And I got welcomed in, and I had this beautiful 12-year stretch where they're like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I'd like to tell this story. They're like, go ahead, here's a bunch of money. It was every dream coming true, but beyond that, dreams you didn't even know you had. And then you're just sitting there one day going like, I'm doing it again and again and again just because now that's what I'm supposed to. When you win something that's wonderful, you don't go like, thank you, I've had enough. You're just supposed to milk it to death until you're dead. But yeah. I can't. Like, I only have a certain amount of screenplays in me. I always said that from the beginning. I said, I always felt like I have 10 movies in me. And Hit Somebody is the 10th flick. And once that's done, once I don't have any stories that I'm, like, pressing to tell that are coming from inside me, playing from the heart directly, there's no point in doing it anymore. Then it's just empty rhetoric. Like, there are plenty of filmmakers out there who could take material and execute it or elevate it insanely well. I'm not one of those guys. I could do my stuff, but if I'm not doing my stuff, I shouldn't be doing that stuff. Particularly when I can do stuff like I can talk to you guys. I obviously like the Smodcast stuff a lot.
Yeah, Smodcast
writing comics, great. All these other things that film has afforded me. So for me, like I feel like this is it. I know this is it. After Hit Somebody, I'm done directing film.
Wow. Holy shit.
At that point, I feel like I want to go out the way I came in. Like Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, fire, passion. Like, if I don't make these movies, I'll just die, and that's the way I want to end. I want to end my game as strong as I started. I don't want to be complacent. I don't want to be a guy that's just like, oh, yeah, he used to make movies like Clerks. Like, you know me and the Wayne Gretzky thing. We've talked about it before. Wayne Gretzky's dad gave him a lesson when he was a kid, very important, that I've kind of taken into my own life and I use all the time now. And he goes, don't go where the puck's been. Go where it's going to be. And in the beginning, I was where the puck was going to be. You know what I'm saying? I was up there. And, you know, you get to a certain point, you can't be the fresh new thing constantly all the time unless you're an artist and you're doing, you know, you're not.
That's got to be hard to live up to. I mean, you know, because obviously.
When you start, when that's your first movie, like if Clerks had been my third, great. But first movie, they're like, you're in, you're a genius, now what? And you're like, I hadn't even thought that far.
Yeah, because, you know, obviously indie, regular guy making a movie, and then you kind of got sucked up into what? The Hollywood, not that you were Hollywood, but like.
It's not even that, like, oh, I've been co-opted. It's just, at a certain point, anything you love to do, if your dream comes true, like basically we watch movies all the time, and we watch people's dreams come true in the movie, and then credits happen. And you never really find out what happens. Like, your dream comes true, and suddenly it's like, all right, keep having your dream come true. And if you don't have enough to fuel it, it's suddenly emptier work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never in the beginning of my career thought I would direct a script that I didn't write. But I eventually got to a point where I was like, yeah, I'll try it. Why not? Just because I'd done everything I thought I would do. I'd outlived my dreams in this career. So suddenly I was like, all right, well, let's try new territory. But that's not who I am. I'm not that filmmaker. I'm not the guy that's like, I was born to make movies. I was born to tell stories and eat food. And I can tell, I can eat food anywhere, and I can tell stories now in a bunch of different mediums. And I feel like leave film for the young bucks. Like Quentin Tarantino a long time ago was like, film is for the young. Like the directing game is for young. It's a young man's game. And I was like, nah, what are you kidding me? I'll be directing until I'm dead. And then I realized, like, he's right. It belongs to those who are most passionate for it. And I just want to end my career as passionately as I started. I don't want to become one of these guys that's like, we're doing season 12 of the sitcom, even though it's stopped being good at 8 because we're all making money.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go out, like, at what I feel is the top of my game. Doesn't matter whether people, a bunch of people tell you you're not at the top of your game. You haven't been good since Chasing Amy. But I know who I am, and I got to deal with me for the rest of my life. So I want to go out at what I feel like is the top of my game, and that's now. That's Red State and hit somebody.
Yeah, you're very excited, Kevin. I'm just thinking, after you retire, though, what if you get the itch? And people are begging you. They're like, come on, Kevin, one more for us.
The other day on Twitter, they're like, hey, man, what about a Clerks 3? And I was like, I don't have a Clerks 3 in me right now, but I'll tell you right now, I'm thinking if I want to extend the Askew universe, never tell those stories again, if that comes up, I can just go do like a cable show. Now everybody curses on cable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, in a world where people can curse on cable, then I can go do TV if I really want to. But
when people talk, when people talk about retiring that are kind of creative people, I always think The Who. The Who has tried to retire 3 or 4 times.
Right.
But you think you got in you to really walk away?
Is, I mean, look, I love The Who and I respect The Who, but The Who does one thing: they're a band.
Yeah,
I used
you get
to
do other things.
Yeah,
I got you.
I started doing one thing; it was directing. But directing has led to so many other opportunities. So it's like it's not like if I put that down, I'm literally going to be sitting in my house.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Exactly. Hey, Kevin, Rich wants to ask you a question, but he's too shy. Go ahead, boss.
Hey, it's Rich Voss. We met. Anyhow, we got this comedy documentary.
Notice
that
he
we're
didn't
making.
say, "Oh yeah," by
no, it doesn't matter. I would love, and we have. It's really funny. A lot of major comics in it. Do we have a shot, realistically, of selling it before anything? You know what I mean? When it's done.
Yeah, I mean, well, it depends. That's the thing. The marketplace has changed drastically since when I made Clerks, which is one of the reasons I decided to kind of take Red State out myself. Back in the go-go 90s, man, people would like overspend on a movie. Even beyond the go-go 90s, like Happy Texas sold for $10 million there. Hustle and Flow, $13 million at Sundance. Clerks back in the day, we sold for $227,000. 2 years later, Careless Spitfire Girl, I believe, sold for 10. So back then, they were spending lots of money. Now, the prices have come down. They're not overpaying for movies at all anymore. But there are also other avenues, way more revenue streams than there had ever been before, so you can break your movie up and sell it even more piecemeal. If the dream is to get it onto movie screen, that's, of course, every filmmaker. We don't make movies and go like, we want to put them on iPods. We want to see them first in movie theaters. We know we'll see them on iPods from now until the end of time, but like, first and foremost, we want to see it born in a movie theater. So that's always the trickiest because there are a bunch of screens, but it's pricey to get onto them. And a lot of people who are buying films are like, okay, if I buy this movie, let's say they buy your movie for, let's say $1 million. I don't know what it costs, but let's say $1 million. Then they're like, we got to spend about 4 or 5 to sell it. Is it worth it? Are we going to make back 6? And again, we don't have to make back 6. The box office has to be higher because we have to split that with an exhibitor. So are we going to make back, say, 10 on this $1 million film? And that's where they start doing the math, and that's where a lot of people are just like, it's just not worth it. But, like for me, I looked at my flick, and I was like, it's $4 million, add on all that marketing. It's not worth it anymore. Nobody will ever see another dime, and it's a waste of everybody's time. We'll have the movie when all is said and done, and that's great. But in terms of why spend money on people that are never going to come see it, hold on to that and just kind of reinvest time in the movie instead of money. That's the thing. Like in this business, people will just be like, spend on it. That's how you cure the problem.
Yeah.
And that's true. You can always cure any, money will cure almost any problem. But if you put in a little time, effort, ingenuity, a little hard work, elbow grease, you could kind of find maybe not the same, cosmic results in terms of like you're making $100 million, but you could do some serious business, man. Like there's something to be said for passion. People pick up on passion, and it's different when you're like, oh, I've seen a commercial for Red State on TV. I think it looks good. And it's different when you hear me talk about it and people go like, I got to see this, man. This is kind of excited, you know?
And when people are, word of mouth.
It did. You know, because this isn't our game. You know, I mean, my wife really.
By that he means entertainment.
No, but I would think besides it being funny and a good movie, there's a lot of names in it.
Absolutely, like something like The Aristocrats. Remember, funny and lots of recognizable people in it. I mean, that to me kind of like. If I'm somebody who buys for that market, I'm like, all right, that's a no-brainer. He's got a wide, varied cast. I could sell that to a bunch of people. But you sit there going, how many screens am I going to put this on? Is this like a 2,000-screen release? No, it doesn't feel like it. But does it feel like a multi-city platform release? Yeah, like New York, L.A., and then take it out on the road by there, city by city from there? Absolutely.
Cool.
And that, at the end of the day, like, what I'm trying to do with my flick is rather than just sell it and let somebody try to figure out how to make money off of it, I'm trying to keep mine and figure out how to make money off it myself, like within my own community, within the people that kind of like my stuff. And I'm doing that. Like some people have taken a bunch of heat, dude. Some cats like can't understand it and they think I'm crazy or arrogant or something. And I'm like, I guess these are the cats that don't realize I spend so much time touring between movies. I guess. Like, they don't realize that I'm on stage all the time. Mm-hmm. But they've kind of taken me to task for it, and I'm just like, no, this is fun. Calling me arrogant for this is ridiculous. It's arrogant if I'm like, here's my $4 million movie that took me 3 years to find money for because nobody wanted to make it. Now, put $20 million on top of it to make people like it. That's arrogant.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, I'd rather schlep my stuff from theater to theater myself because I love my movie and I love listening to people hear it and react to it and afterwards talk to them about it. So for me, I'm like, all right, rather than sell it and see them do it, let me see if I can do it myself. Now, I can only do that here. I live in the United States. I barely know how to release a movie where I live, let alone abroad. So there, of course, we follow, like, the Miramax model that I was raised under with all the movies I made. Like Harvey and Bob would sell the movie off abroad. So naturally, we're going to sell the movie off to every international territory, and they can release the movie any way they want. Of course, I'll be there to do interviews and stuff. But here, like, and also we can sell our DVD. We got a really sweet DVD offer. We got a really sweet TV offer, pay TV offer. So right now, we've done the math long before we ever made this decision. Like, this is day 4 of the movie we're shooting. Me and John Gordon, my producer, start having this conversation. We figure with all these different places, we've got the $4 million investment covered. We sell film, we sell TV, we sell DVD. We've got that $4 million covered. That just leaves the domestic. And at that point, we turn to our investors. We're like, can we be a little experimental? Can you let us take it out on the road and try like this kind of social media release where because we did, it was beautiful. We had these 2 investors who were not from the movie business. And when you put a spreadsheet in front of people who are not from the movie business, who are businessmen or business people, they immediately start going like, what's this? Like, they point to the marketing number all the time because I showed them, like, here's our budget, $4 million, here's projected marketing costs when it's picked up, 10 to 20. And those cats are like, what is this figure? And I'm like, well, that's how they make people aware of the movie. And they're like, this is ridiculous. What business do they spend 4 or 5 times the amount of the movie to market the movie? And I was like,
the movie business.
Yeah, so by having investors who weren't from the movie business, we got some play because those cats were like, look, it makes no sense. We sell it here, and it seems like we might never get a dime based on all these marketing costs. The way you're talking about, why not? Let's take a risk. Like, they already threw $2 million apiece into the movie. They're gambling that much. They felt like, let's take it a few more months. Why not see what happens?
This is cool. It sounds like you're kind of breaking new ground with the level that you've been at.
Trent Reznor, dude. This is the Trent Reznor model.
Yeah.
Reznor, or even reaching further back, Annie DeFranco. People that figured out early, like, I don't have to spend inordinate marketing costs. And
right. You had a revelation.
Yeah.
Well,
you had a fucking revelation.
Pearl Jam did that too. When everyone else was making, music videos for millions and millions of dollars, they're like, we don't need to do that. They made the one, obviously, but, they had at least another 10 in them, and they just walked away from that whole thing. They thought it was a waste of time and money.
Waste of time, an absolute waste of money.
Right.
Everybody involved, and it's ego money. It's like, look, in the beginning, of course I wanted to see commercials for my movie on TV. I was a 23-year-old kid, and I was like, oh, my God, they're going to make a Clerks commercial?
Yeah, you do get caught up in that stuff.
Of course, but it's been 17 years. I've seen commercials for my movie, good or bad. I've seen commercials where I'm like, I don't even like that movie, and I like that movie.
Well, Kevin, the excitement is very obvious, or you just stopped smoking pot. I don't know which one it is.
No, man, it's all one and the same.
No, we're very happy for you, and I'm sure.
Are you guys going to come out? Here's the thing. I hate to.
Are
say
we
this,
coming out? I'll be there.
Unfortunately, you got to buy tickets. I'm making my mother buy tickets this time because every penny counts. We are the studio on this one. You know what I'm saying?
This is a grassroots thing. Yeah, I would love to buy a ticket. I just hope it doesn't sell out before I buy mine.
Well, here's the problem. 6,000 seats. I'm never going to fill that. Yeah, I sold.
Get the fuck out of here. We'll sell that out for you.
I can never sell out. If you guys can help me out, that'd be great. But we were never like, we're going to fill Radio City.
You want to make a bet that you sell out?
Yeah.
You want to make a bet?
Yeah, I'll make a bet.
You're selling this out.
I'm never going to sell out.
You're absolutely selling it out. 6,000 seats.
Dude, I'll bet you $1,000.
Because there's a buzz on this whole thing, and people are talking, and Kevin Smith's trying something different. I'm telling you. How many tickets do you think you're going to sell?
If I got halfway, I'd be happy. Because,
wow.
Look, honestly, like Carnegie Hall, I sold out, and that was 2,600 seats. So I figure in New York, I might be good for about 2,600 seats. So if I can get Radio City, that's like 6,000 seats. If I get it halfway, I'm a happy camper.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's paid for, but half of that means it's paid for. Like there's no,
right.
like it's, you know, all the event venue costs and whatnot are covered by the ticket sales, and beyond that just becomes kind of profit. So if I ever got to half, I'd be a happy man. If you think I'm getting to 6,000, I love you so much.
I think you have a shot. We'll have to wait and see.
I want to get to 6,000 for the whole year.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, the Westboro church there.
Yeah, they came out protest us.
Yeah, man, and man, your pictures went everywhere, and your
Right
signs were hilarious.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I can't even say it was an original idea. The kids at the San Diego Comic-Con this year, the Westboro Baptist Church came out to protest Comic-Con for some reason because we're all going to hell for liking Superman. Kids came out in costume holding up the most ridiculous signs, and I always loved that. I was like, that's great, man. Way to fight hate with just absolute stupidity.
With ridiculousness,
yes.
yeah.
And so it's like, if they can hold up a horseshit sign, I can hold up a horseshit sign.
What were some of the signs again?
We went out there. We held up signs that were like, John Gordon's my producer. He's Jewish. His sign said, I'm a happy Jew. Malcolm, my friend Malcolm, you guys met him, big gay Malcolm.
Yeah.
His sign said, Dick tastes yummy.
Yeah, that was it. Dick tastes yummy. Saw that one.
So stuff like that.
That one was, what was that, TMZ or something?
Yeah, that one went.
Websites. They were like, Dick tastes
That
yummy.
one, that's right. That one went everywhere.
You know, it was funny because it was cut off, the picture that I had seen from the news, whatever website it was.
Yeah.
It was cut off, and they had cropped Kevin so that at the very corner of the sign, it just said D, there was a D, and then a T, and then under it a Y. And so you don't even think about it, and then Travis had to alert me that if I found the full picture, it was a sign that said Dick tastes yummy, so I had to go and find the original.
It's like that moment in 12 Monkeys where you could actually see.
God bless Malcolm for doing that, man. Right on.
It was great. We had a bunch of people with us. We had about 30, 40 signs, and we all had them. We kept switching them out and stuff like that.
Did you get them to laugh?
They smiled. Shirley was smiling at me, but I think she was smiling at me because she knows I'm going to hell or something.
Oh yeah, probably. She smiles for different reasons. Right.
Aside from our protest, like they put out this press release. Their press releases are amazing. They sound like they're written by Voldemort or something, or Darth Vader. They're just so evil. We put out a press release, kind of making fun of theirs, and we were like, anybody who wants to join us can. About 100 kids, maybe 200. I forget what the exact number was, but there were a bunch of them. Came out from the school. That I guess we were screening. The Eccles is in a high school. The theater where we were screening at Sundance is in a high school. So the kids from that high school came out to protest the Westboro Baptist Church, and they were holding signs as well, and they're screaming Lady Gaga lyrics at them.
Oh, great.
It did your heart good. Now, I'm a 40-year-old man trouncing around in the snow with ridiculous signs like Thor hates straights. And you look over and see those kids, those fresh-faced kids fighting like evil, flat-out ridiculous, cartoonish evil. It just did my heart so good.
That's awesome. Hey, a lot of people on the phones. I don't think we have time. A bunch of them saw the movie at Sundance and just loving Red State.
They digging it?
Yeah, loved this movie. Saw it. You want to talk to just one?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, one guy. We got Brian in Salt Lake City representing a bunch of people on the phone. Brian, you're on with Kevin Smith.
Brent?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Are you there? Is it Brent?
Yeah, Brent, go
whatever.
ahead, man.
Hey, sorry. Hey, Kevin, movie was fantastic. I'm not going to say anything about it. People need to see it. You have to see it. See it in an atmosphere like I did at Sundance. It is, to see it in a big theater with a bunch of people is really, really cool. It's unlike any other Kevin Smith film you've ever seen. Kevin, I waited in the cold for 4 hours that day just to get in on waitlist tickets. It was awesome. I really appreciate the opportunity to get to see it at Sundance, and I hope to get to see it somewhere else on the road. And I know you guys want to get the hell out of here, so have a good one.
All right, there you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was my father. You couldn't ask for a better review.
Well, there's a bunch of them just like that, so...
Oh, and that's the thing, you can't, basically, you don't hear those cats. Were it not for Twitter, I'd never hear those cats.
I know.
That's what I love about social media, dude. Like, for years, the only way I knew what people were thinking was, well, I'd read a newspaper, and that one person would think for everybody.
Yeah.
And now you can get in touch with the people that buy tickets. Like,
Right.
you guys have been able to do it for years. People call in and tell you, like, I love you. So even if somebody's saying over here, they suck and nobody likes them, you're like, it doesn't match up. I have all these people that are listening or watching. So moments like that where that dude's just like, I waited 4 hours in the snow and it still rocked. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a review to me. That's better than thumb up, thumb down.
And look what this Twitter and social networking is doing over there in Egypt. Holy shit.
I
Getting
know,
things
right?
done. Yeah.
I saw some of the pictures you put up, and then I saw Jimmy. Jimmy, did you chastise Opie for a picture? Were you saying that was an old photo from a different incident?
No, that was
on Opie.
Yeah, that was that was mine. That was the.
What happened?
Was that you? Was Anthony?
I was like, the peace talks have finally begun, and it was a picture of Charlton Heston as Moses.
Yeah.
I scolded Anthony. I said, that's from another picture. Sometimes I like to tweet very literally just to make sure everybody is in line.
Yeah, literal Jim got me on that one. And then I did Angry Egyptians. I made one Egyptian's head
You made that?
flying into,
I thought you found that somewhere else. God,
No, I'm an original.
that was funny, man.
I do all original work on Photoshop. I never plagiarize Photoshop.
I had no idea. Yeah, you did Angry Egyptian, like the Angry Birds thing. It was very funny.
It's the number one download over there.
Kevin, it's I hate to do this to you because it's a hack question, but you got the Oscars right around the corner, so I got to ask. What was your favorite movie of the year?
I'll tell you, but you guys can't make fun of me.
Wait, can we guess then?
Go ahead.
Say Toy Story 3 and we're hanging up.
No, but I did like that movie a lot.
I like Toy Story
I
3.
call that movie Schindler's Toy Box.
Was it a rom-com?
No.
Winter's Bone.
Wait, what movie would...
I did like Winter's Bone a lot.
I'm going to guess Inception.
I love The King's Speech.
Oh, that's the one?
Yeah, I love it.
No, everyone's talking about this movie.
I thought Inception was better, though.
You guys watch. You know what's good about it? Here's the thing. It's about Colin Firth plays a guy who eventually winds up being the king of England. Doesn't want to be, but it's during that period where, remember, there was a dude who was going to be king, and he's like, I want to marry this divorced American. And they're like, you can't do that. He's like, fine, then I won't be king anymore. And he steps away. So his brother winds up having to be king, and this is the guy who was the father of Queen Elizabeth, the one who's currently the queen. So this dude, from childhood, from youth, had a terrible stutter. He can't speak well. He's just constantly doing that sort of thing. And, if you're king, you got to stand up and talk in front of people and whatnot. So he's terrified. He has to, movie begins with him early on, long before he's, the king, trying to do a speech on his father's behalf, and he just can't. He sounds really bad at it. So his wife finds the speech therapist for him, and that's Jeffrey Rush, and they kind of teach him how to speak fluently, how to get rid of the stutter, and it's of course about way more than that. But the beauty of using the stutter as a kind of storytelling device is it is something that's we can all identify with it on some level. I may not have a stutter, but I know what it feels like to be fat in public, and that's like having a stutter. And I may not have or some chick may not have a stutter, but she knows what it feels like to have small tits, and that's noticeable, and that's her thing. It has this identifiable kind of hurdle for the main character to get over that really resonates with the entire audience. And it's so well acted. It's insanely well acted, really charming, and it's just great movie making.
A description
Inception
that makes
is a
sense.
mind fuck of a movie, Inception.
Yeah.
And I love that. That was probably the most original film I saw all year, but the one that sticks with me the most is King's Speech.
God, now I'm going now.
I
wasn't gonna go see this movie.
It's like a real pussy flick, but it's so worth your time.
Not how you just described it.
Yeah, I guess, but you'll sit there halfway through, you're going to be like, what the hell is he talking about? They're all British. It's really good.
That means it's well acted.
It'll move you, it'll touch you, it'll make you feel like you could do stuff. And maybe it's just because I'm 40 years old, but when I sit down and put 2 hours of my life into anything, I want to take something out of it from now on. You know what I'm saying? I like watching stuff where I'm like, oh man, that made me feel good. It makes me want to do something in my own life.
Ew, Kevin's growing up.
I know.
That's what it is.
Creepy.
Ew. We're all going to die one day.
Yeah.
Shit.
Hey, you must have loved the fighter, or at least Christian Bale's.
Totally. Well, it's got Melissa Leo in it, and she's in Red State. The chick who won the Golden Globe for being in The Fighter for playing his mom. She's in our movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, she's awesome in it. In our movie, we got her, Michael Parks, as I said, John Goodman. He's awesome in the movie. Kevin Pollak, Kevin Alejandro from True Blood, Kyle Gallner, Michael Angarano, Nick Braun, Carrie Bechet. They play the kids in the movie. But it's a pretty big cast. But in any event, Melissa Leo was in The Fighter, man. She won a Golden Globe. We were all like, woo! Because it looks like, and she got the Oscar nod, too. And it looks like she may win Best Supporting Actress for Oscar. That would be awesome for us.
Hell yeah.
I think
her next movie is our dopey flick.
I think she won a SAG last night too. I think.
Yeah, she won the SAG Award.
She did.
I
Okay.
mean, she's amazing.
She looks so
She's
different on
such a
stage. I
really-
wasn't sure.
And she's a committed hardcore actress. Like like she does stuff like our movies. You know what I'm saying? She get paid almost anything to be in our movie, but she just kind of loved the indie spirit of it all and whatnot. She's good people.
And the hockey movie. When do you start filming that?
I'm hoping to shoot it by the end of the year once we're done with the Red State release. And we all, as I said before, Jimmy's going to play a Glenn Hall-like goalie in the movie.
Nice.
Oh, good.
He's if you ever, I want you to watch some Glenn Hall interviews, Jimmy.
Okay.
He's the dude. He was a great goalie, a wonderful sense of humor, but a man who, before every game, would just go over to the side and throw up. He was so nervous.
Oh, that's perfect for Jimmy.
That's totally
perfect
Jimmy.
for you, Jimmy.
It's almost. I almost want Jimmy to do Jimmy's poo voice as the character. Whenever Jimmy does poo, I just want him to sound cute.
Okay.
And with the hockey movie, are you trying to get the great one for the movie?
No, not him. As I've said many times, I'm a huge fan of Wayne Gretzky. He's my idol. He's the man I look up to now, and the guy that's kind of responsible for like anything I've done for the last 2 years has been very Gretzky inspired. My feeling is if I met Gretzky, I'd realize he's just a dude who played sports once. Suddenly, you know what I'm saying? Like I need Gretzky to be a god, and if I meet him, he's no longer that. He's just a guy I met. So I like to keep as far away from him as possible. I know his dad, and I've helped his dad out. I got his dad into the Guinness Book of World Records with the tournament last year, that hockey tournament. But meeting Wayne Gretzky himself, I always feel would kind of like ruin the vibe I got going on right now.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. There's some guys you just never want to meet. You want to
totally.
just...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's like, and also because the things that inspire me about Gretzky, I mean, he's a fine human being even now, but like were things that he did 25, 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that have to do with who he is at the moment? So, and it's more about like a dude who just kind of kept his head up, stick down, and just worked at it. Just kept working and working, and enjoyed what he worked at, and showed in his work. So for me, meeting Wayne Gretzky probably not a good idea until after I'm done with the hockey movie. But there is a Wayne Gretzky-like character in the third act of our movie because it's about the WHA to some degree. It's not literally the WHA, but it's that type of league, the rebel league that sprouts up and kind of takes on the NHL for a little while. And we follow one character for 30 years of his life, and the lion's share of the movie takes place in the 70s during that. So it's a bunch of goon hockey in that era.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be good fights, dude. I mean,
I can't wait. Old school.
We acknowledge the NHL, but we just don't, they're not in the movie because I don't want to license all those teams and stuff like that. But we live in a hockey universe, so there are going to be parallels constantly. And this Gretzky character that comes in the third act represents kind of the end of goon hockey, the end of that WHA kind of era, and the beginning of what we know today as professional NHL hockey. Fast games, all, puck up and down.
Right.
Just not thuggery as much.
Are you going to have a classic bench clearing brawl?
Oh, have to, dude.
All right, good.
Especially
where the goalies go at it at center ice. It's like they were on the opposite side of the ice. Why are they mad at each other?
Exactly.
They never even touched each other.
It brings it out in them.
Do I need to take skating lessons, Kevin?
Yes. Start now.
Do I need to take skating lessons?
Well, here's the thing. Your goalies mostly just kind of, they're stationary. I mean, you're going to have to be able to stand up on skates, but you're not going to be able to execute anything, except getting on skates and going from, like, the bench all the way out to the net. But when it comes to, I mean, the fact of the matter is sometimes you will be wearing a mask and sometimes not. So that's more something to think about. We'll be using very soft, rubbery pucks. Because in that era, they didn't always have goalie masks, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, like Glenn Hall didn't play with one for a long, long time.
Oh, fucking pucks in the face, man.
You just have to be able to stand there believably on skates.
That's crazy.
But I tend to become the role, so I want to know.
Yes, you do, Jim.
Yes, I do.
He does the work, man. The dude who got tattooed in Cop Out, he put in some work.
That's right.
Hey, when you were talking about Gretzky and meeting him and not meeting him for certain reasons, is that a little bit inspired by the Bruce Willis situation? Because I remember you saying...
Yes, hands down. Sure. But, I mean, it goes even further back. I met Chevy Chase once, and I guess it was just not a good time for either of us because I was like, wow, I really like that guy. What happened? That was strange. He took some shots at me in the press after that, and I was like, wow, what the... So for me, I'm like I've always loved Bill Murray, man. Bill Murray, one of my favorite performers of all time. And, I make movies, and so I could conceivably get Bill Murray in a movie if he wanted to do my stuff, but I never wanted to reach out because I'm like, I like him so much. I would hate to like work with him and have that ruined if he wasn't like who I thought he was. Some people, you just want to appreciate what they do. I don't need to be their friend or their best friend. I need to know them. I just like what they do.
What sticks in my head is when early on during your cop out, I think before you even started filming, you were just talking about the fact that Bruce Willis was in the movie, and you were so excited that here's the guy from Die Hard. This is so cool. This that, and then when we started hearing little news dripping out about like how uncomfortable, let's say, things were on set, it was kind of like, oh fuck, that sucks for Kevin, because here's a guy that he fucking really just wanted to meet, and he turned out to kind of be I guess a dick and
a disappointment.
Yeah,
we have two very different ways of working, I guess, is what it came down to, and ultimately it was a very important learning experience across the boards. Like, not just on the how do you deal with somebody who doesn't want to deal with you level, but also how do you make a movie around that? You know what I'm saying?
Did you feel anything was personal? Did you feel like he's like this anyway, or that he personally had a problem with you?
I don't know. I don't know if it was like me personally. I just don't. I don't think he respected me as a director, and why would he? Like, he's worked with legends. And I've made, I made stuff like Mallrats. So I think there was probably that disconnect. But at the end of the day, it's like, even that, like, to me in the moment, I was like, oh man, like, I took a huge pay cut to be here to work with a guy that I guess was a guy that was in my imagination. You have to grow up in that moment and go like, what do you do? You're committed. You're pot committed. And so you put in everything. You do everything you can anyway.
Ken, when did you realize? I just want to ask. When did you realize? Like, this might be a difficult experience. Was it like the first day, the first read, or
day two? He kind of he felt kind of free to just it was. I'd never worked with somebody like that who was just kind of like no. We're like, oh, okay.
Wait, you would suggest something and he would say no?
Yeah, or just wants to do it his way. He wanted to be in charge of his own performance, which is totally fine. I've worked with actors like that before who were like, "Hey, man, I got this," and you just kind of stay out of their kitchen. He's not, like, here. I'll give you an example of the extremely great side of that equation.
Okay.
We made Red State. John Goodman's in it. John Goodman, is the dude who, and this ain't a slam on any actor, but this is meant to praise John. Every actor in this business has a stand-in, or not their own, but there's always somebody standing in for them while they light the shot and get the camera ready and everything set up. And then, when it's time to actually shoot, the stand-in steps away and the actor takes the stand-in's place, and then we do the scene. And that's so that the actor's not standing there for an hour, 2 hours while we light the scene.
Yeah.
They got a lot of important things to do, like text. So every large and small budget film, this is the standard. Even when I was an actor, I had a stand-in. Even on my flick this Silent Bob, there was always a Silent Bob stand-in so they can light, and but I was off trying to set up the next shot. I was also directing at the same time. So, idea to stand-in, totally acceptable concept. Having one doesn't mean anything except you're, part of, that's what the industry is. We're shooting Red State, and, we're getting ready to shoot something with John Goodman. He's already shot something. We're about to shoot the next thing. So we're like, John, you got 15 minutes. You could step off. And he goes, I'm cool. I'll just stay. John Goodman stands in for himself.
Wow.
Like, he just literally will hang out there for the 10, 15 minutes as they light, man. And he's not mean about it or anything. He's just hanging out. He's chit-chatting. He's thinking.
I'll stay here.
On his work, yeah. He's just like, why go away? I'm just going to stay here on the vibe, on the set. And, that's awesome. You sit there going like, wow, man, I wish if I was ever going to act again, I would totally do that. Like, you meet people like that, and it makes you want to up your game. Like, if I could grow up to be John Goodman, I'd be the happiest man in the world. You know what I'm saying? But I can't. It'll take me a few years to learn the stuff that he's learned, but I'm just happy I've learned the stuff I've learned where I am now, because you can kind of catch yourself. Like, if I didn't realize where my heart was and what I wanted to do with film, it could be another 5-10 years of me just kind of grinding it out. Films that don't mean as much to me because, well, I'm expected to keep directing. That's what I do. And I've already missed, most of the first 10 years of my kid's life. Well, she's 11 now, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I've had a great job where I'm in the house and I'm around my kid more than most fathers are around their kids, to be honest. But when you go shoot the movie, you're gone for like 2 months, even when the family's with you, you're gone. You're gone 18 hours a day. And my kid's now 11. She's getting really interesting. Like, she has her own thought process, and she's having her own, like, her skate is just beginning now, and I want to be around to watch that, not sitting on some set.
You know what
again, like, there's a great, Steven Soderbergh made this great quote, because he's talking about going to paint and stuff like that, because he, too, has been doing it for, like, over 20 years. And his quote was this: I just can't get it up for another over-the-shoulder shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you've done it a bunch of times, it's like, look, I can't give you the same passion I gave you on Chasing Amy, because I can't tell that story anymore. Like, that story came from pure passion. If you want me to just sit around and keep making movies, it's gonna be, the product's going to be less and less what you want it to be. It ain't going to be a Kevin Smith movie anymore. It's just going to be a movie Kevin Smith was involved with.
This sounds exactly like a lot of shit came together at one time for you, and it's in a time in history when the technology is right, and the vibe is right, and you're growing up. You've had some, I guess, less than stellar experiences with a couple of films, as far as people you've had to work with and things like that. And then all that kind of brings you right back to the beginning of going, something, I have passion for this movie, the technology is there for me, and bring it out yourself. That's fucking, it's fantastic.
It sounds kind of ridiculous, and I've been saying it a lot, but bear with me, and I'll try to do it quickly. 17 years ago, I went to Sundance and kind of lived that poem, that Robert Frost poem, like two roads diverged in the yellow woods, and I took the road less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. In life, I took the road less traveled by. I made a movie, it got picked up, and boom, suddenly a dude who lived in Jersey, was born to a postal worker father and a mom who didn't work, lived in a low-income, government cheese-eating house family, wound up in the movie business. That is the path less traveled by, and it has made all the difference. It's been amazing. 17 years later, God, the universe, the Sundance Film Festival, a long career, whatever, gave me the opportunity to bring me right back to the exact same spot, like in Sundance, in Park City, Utah, 17 years later, and gave me the same opportunity to choose. Do you go down this path or this path? And first time I went, the road less traveled by was kind of more universal. Like, I chose to make a movie. Not everybody does that. But now I'm looking at two roads that are within my art form, within my career, within my grasp. And the road that I took before is really the road that's most traveled by in my work. You make movies and you put them out. You make movies, you put them out. This time, you let other people put them out, pay for them, market them. This time I'm looking at the other road going, okay, all the experience that I have from taking the other road last time, 17 years of experience, and having released a movie 9 times in the same way, do I want to go down the same exact path, knowing exactly what's there, or do I want to try this one, man, just to see what it would be like? And I don't know, it felt cool to, like, make that choice and be like, I felt young. I felt reinvigorated to make the harder choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would have been easy to be like, we'll sell the movie, somebody will put commercials up, and we'll take our chances at the box office as we always do, because that's what we do. But to take the other chance, like, and just be like, hey, man, let's see if this could work. If this is, and it's not even really a tough experiment. It's like, I go out on the road anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
It did a lot for me. It did more for me than, like, I don't do heroin, but I heard that it has that effect. Like Muse goes, like, you just sound like you're on heroin all the time. It feels good, right? I was like, yes, the idea of, like, captaining your own destiny again, taking a chance, going out there, bringing your movie out yourself, doing something a little unconventionally, though, doing it in a way that's comfortable for you via Twitter, the podcast, talking to you guys, blah, blah, blah. It just makes you feel like a kid again, dude. Somebody on Twitter said it was punk rock filmmaking, and I almost cried.
There's plenty of ways of getting the word out now, is what it is. Also, you don't have to depend on a distributor.
Yeah. I could just reach to the people that are like, hey, man, I like what you do anyway, so I'm kind of halfway in, but the way you're talking about this, I'll definitely give it a shot. Like, that's who I'm going after. There's no point going after people who are like, I hate him and everything he does, and let's see if he does better this time. Nope, he didn't. I still hate him. There's no point. And then there's a bunch of people who are indifferent, dude. They're not even like, I hate Kevin Smith. They're like, who? And they're like, hey, man, Clerks, Mallrats. Like, what movies are those? I haven't been heard of by the entire world. And in the film world, yeah, I'm definitely a known quantity. But in the real world, you really have to push hard. I'm sitting there, somebody will like, hey, can I get your autograph in a food store? And he signs something for him. And they leave, and the other person who's standing near you is like, what is that all about? And I was like, I make movies sometimes. Like, oh, yeah, which ones? And you list them all, and they're like, never heard of those. And you realize, you're like, hey, man, you're not as cool as you think you are. You're still always playing to your audience. And if you're playing to your audience, respect them. For years, these cats in marketing have always been like, don't worry, your audience is already coming. The money we're spending is to reach people that aren't your audience.
Right, yeah.
And it always bugged me where I'm like, let's spend all the money on the people that are coming because they are the audience. Like, let's not treat them like they're coming, so don't respect that. Respect the people, go hat in hand to the people that have no interest in your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of that. Like, I'd rather just talk to the people that are enthused about it. And some people have said, like, oh, he just doesn't want to get criticized. Like, I get criticized within my audience. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like they're sitting there going, this is brilliant. I get a lot of people going, it's crap. It's not, this crap, this isn't crap. I've liked this, I haven't liked this. But they're just not all like haterade from the beginning, like, from hell's heart I stab at thee. I got a lot of that. I'm the white whale for a lot of Ahabs on the internet, man.
Oh, I thought you were going con. I went a little. I didn't go classic literature. I went Star Trek too.
Well, we should get the plug out. So Kevin's taking the movie Red State to Radio City Music Hall March 5th. Tickets are $60. You can get them through Ticketmaster, I'm assuming.
Ticketmaster. You can go to coopersdell.com is our website where we have all the cities listed on the tour because it's like New York, Boston, Chicago, Minneapolis, Ann Arbor, Indianapolis, Kansas City, Springfield, Ohio, Washington, D.C., Denver, Colorado, Madison, Wisconsin, New Orleans, Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Seattle, and then we end in Los Angeles on April 9th. Wow. So, yeah, it's a nice month-long tour, man. But, yeah, we start Radio City Music Hall. That's the toughest one to fill. If you guys want to help us out at all.
Hell yeah.
Look, I know there's some people like, I ain't paying $60 to see no movie. That's fine. I get it. Like, I'm not telling you to.
Well, it's more than a movie. You're going to be talking, and you're going to have a lot of the people in the movie, on that stage, too.
But
so
here's the thing. Like,
it's not just a movie. I don't want people to think that. You're going to get a hell of a lot more than that.
It is. It's more value. And the thing is, the audience that's predisposed to come, and they already kind of come out and pay the same price to see me by myself, stand up there, sweat, be fat, and go, like, one time I made a script for Superman. Now, for the same exact price, like, I'm bringing the movie. It's almost as if the movie's coming along for free. Yeah. But if that's too much, and I respect that, especially in this economy, some people are like, can't pay $60 to go see you and a movie. Forget it. Don't worry about it. The movie will come out in October, and you'll be able to pay normal price to see it. It's just we got done early. Like, we didn't expect to be finished this early. We started shooting September 21st. So we didn't think we'd even make Sundance, but I was cutting the movie the whole way, and I felt like, all right, we're done. When we're done shooting, we're actually done with the cut. Maybe we can submit. So we wound up getting into Sundance, and it was way ahead of our schedule. We didn't expect to come out until October. Wow. So rather than just kind of sit around with, post Sundance for 10 months, we were like, let's take it out and show people.
Yeah, let's have some fun with this. Sure.
Yeah, it'll be fun, man. It'll be a really good time. But if you can't afford it, wait till October. You'll see it for $10, or steal it from the internet.
And with that, Kevin, thanks for calling. We're gonna see you in studio next week, I guess, right?
I'm gonna come in, and if you can help me sell this barn out, 6,000 seats is a lot. Radio City Music.
Let's rock it. Let's see what we got. All right.
Cool, man.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks,
we'll see you
Kevin.
next week.
Guys.
Thanks for your help,
cool,
man.
man.
See you next week.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Bye, Jimmy. Bye, Anthony.
Take care, Kev.
All right. Jimmy, you got to start your skating lessons.
And you know where I'm going to be skating?
Where?
This is not about gigs either, believe it or not. First, let me mention the gigs. February 11th, I'll be in Las Vegas. It's almost sold out. Club Madrid, Sunset Station. That will be sold out. It's almost. And I'm doing my first headline gigs at the Melrose Improv, February 12th. And just one more. Montclair, New Jersey, March 5th. Wilbur Theater, Boston, March 18th. I lied. That was two more.
All right. And Rich is going to be at Bananas in Poughkeepsie.
Friday and Saturday.
All right. Rich Voss on Twitter. And, of course, let's not forget Derek in the corner there. Derek.
Yes, absolutely.
You got to come back
guy.
So we can spend more time with you.
Yeah, I'm still here. Listen.
Yeah.
Do you want
Kevin, very energetic.
I thought I talk a lot. Wow, that was impressive.
He can go, man.
Yeah, there's
he's
some
into
passion
something.
behind Kevin
Oh, yeah.
and what he's talking about. So it's good to listen to. All right, I guess that's it. Derek, you'll come back, right?
Yeah, why not? I'm always on here doing my show, so maybe I'll come.
Oh, yeah.
Cool,
Let's get the plug in for Poundstone Power. It's Sirius XM Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. on XM 241, Sirius 125.
If you listen, call in. Yeah, if you listen, give us a call. You can break my stones on the radio there, too.
No worries.
Everyone else does.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow.